Hey, this is Tom at Talent Guitar Works. It's like 5:30 in the morning and I just got done going through all the comments on the Sam Ash Guitar Center video I did, and thank you for all the subscriptions. Thank you for all the people that put the comments on there. I try to answer as many as I can. Patrick inspired me to do this video on specialization because he goes, so what is the future of the mom and pop shops? Because I kind of glossed around it. I made a few suggestions, but I didn't go into detail, and I'm going to go into more detail today. The first thing that's happened to mom and pop shops is what they call the graying of the industry, where mom and pop are retiring, the kids are off on their own careers, or they don't have kids, so the store closes. There's no heir apparent to that store. Sam Ash is not one of those stores, and there is an heir to the Sam Ash throne, and they will, I'm sure, reorganize and stay rolling. They're just going to close some shops. Specialization happens in any industrial complex at a point where it's not as profitable to do everything for the complete industry. And that's where we're at now. And I just looked online to check. Fender, in just the Player Series, has 21 different models. I didn't even mention different colors, right? That's just models. It's hard for a big box store to carry that. How many different model lines does Fender have this year? And that's just Fender. Now you've got Charvel and Jackson and Gretsch and Guild and all these other companies underneath there, and the whole Gibson Epiphone line. So you see, that's a daunting task to stock all those models or get those models in the hands of people. So the specialization thing comes from my neighbor Rick. He just went and bought a Martin this past year up in upstate New York, and the shop he went into was specifically acoustic guitars. It had some classical, but all mid to high-end acoustics, had no entry levels, and they just went after that corner of the market, the singer-songwriter, pop, country, bluegrass, folk people, and classical players. That's where they went after, and that's all they do. They don't do anything else. They're the Kentucky Fried Chicken of acoustic guitars in upstate New York, I guess. We go off knowledge base with that. Now, my knowledge base, I primarily work on electric guitars here and build electric guitars. Can I build acoustic guitars? Yes. Can I build basses? Yes, I have. Where's my knowledge base at? My knowledge base is primarily with electric guitars, and electric guitars that have 6 strings. So, that being said, if you told me, hey, Tom, I need a 9-string multi-scale headless guitar, I am not your guy. There is a guy, and my saying from the military used to be, I'm not the smart guy, but I can find his phone number for you. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to see shops that specialize in specific genres. Now, will someone travel to those shops because they're the mecca of that genre or multiple genres that they're in line with? Yeah, they sure will. Or they'll do a lot of research on it. We're nowhere near in Southwest Florida, Chicago music, but I have friends that buy stuff from Chicago music all the time. They know they're blues players, and they're constantly looking at what comes into Chicago music because they know there's a large blues base up there. It is what it is, right? So we're going to see a specialization that comes down. And one of the specializations that needs to be re-energized, because there's a shortage right now nationwide, and that's tube amp repair guys and solid state amp repair guys. Now, the solid state guys, somebody's going to say, well, every manufacturer just tells you to replace the board. Yeah, they do. I know. They do, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a need for somebody to replace that board in those solid state amps. We have one tube amp repair guy that I know of from Sarasota or St. Pete all the way to Naples, and that's Stosh, who's in Venice, who works out of his house, does a wonderful job, and I get about 25 calls a year going, I need a tube amp guy ASAP, and I send them all to Stosh. Now, we also have Gary Dahle, who retired and closed his shop, his storefront, and I heard he's still working out of his house, that just does solid state amps up in Sarasota. So that's how short the area is for repair facilities. And you know, this is just something as simple as somebody that can change tubes or bias tubes, or you know, do some cleaning of the pots and stuff like that. It's just, there's a high demand for that right now. So further down the road in the specialization, I think we're going to see, you know, more of a European aspect. We're going to see a lot smaller shops that cater to these genres. And when I was in Germany, I saw the e-guitar shops that were one of two things. I would have to drive quite a distance to get to them, and they were either tiny little shops in the back of a building that had extremely high-end guitars in them that were amazing, or it was a Kmart style variety store of musical instruments that had a lot of entry and mid-level stuff in it, but not a depth of selection. And that's kind of where Guitar Center and Sam Ash wound up, not where they started. And you know, I think in the future we're going to see that small shop that's a direct marketer for a corporate guitar brand is going to be out there. I already know, and I mentioned in a previous video, that Ernie Ball will sell me a guitar above the dealer rate but below the standard rate for one-offs. If a customer comes in and says, "Hey, I want a Steve Lukather guitar," I can get it and you know, purchase it. And they, like as I said before, they don't have to worry about a floor plan because Tom paid for the guitar cash up front, and good luck, you know. So that may be where we're going with that. You know, there was a subscriber online that said they went to the Mecca of guitars in the United States now, which is, I guess he anointed Sweetwater with that. And he said he was disappointed there was only one room of guitars. And I thought to myself, had you told Sweetwater you were coming in advance and the guitars you wanted to look at, I'm sure those guitars would have been on the floor in abundance. Sweetwater does one thing that none of the other online sellers do. You have a personal agent at Sweetwater. Mine is Jonathan Cascrow. And when I need something, I call Jonathan, or if he's not there, I get a member of his team. And the teams are constructed where everybody has got a knowledge base and a different area of the products they sell at Sweetwater. Some of the guys are recording studio experts, some of the guys are live sound experts, some of the guys guitar and bass, some of the guys just drums or keyboards. But that's how they compose these teams for these sales staffs. And I'm sure they compete against each other, but they have always steered me in the right direction. And that's part of the customer service thing. Now, I did have one of the subscribers mention that he's got a local guitar shop that will let him take a guitar home to try over the weekend. This is the interpersonal skill set type thing of the mom and pop shop and what the big box store can't do. Sweetwater can do it in the fact that you can return the guitar. There's a little bit that goes on with returning a guitar, but it's not that big of an inconvenience. But having that level of trust in a customer, and likewise to the guitar shop, and bring the guitar back, that's where we need to get to again to keep the musicians out there playing. And so, like I said, somebody ragged on me. They go, "You're always working on your friends' guitars." I said, "All my customers are my friends. They're not my enemies, surely, because they come back, right?" But that's where we're at with the specialization mode. You're going to see smaller on-hand supplies. You're going to see people that say, "I'll order it." Okay, you want this? You want a catalog sale? And if you think back, because people go, catalog sales, Sears, that you in the 60s and 70s, that was the king. Montgomery Ward, more guitars got bought out of those catalogs than in any stores, surely. So anyway, this is Tom for Talent Guitar Works. Thank you for all the subscriptions. Thank you for all the comments. I try to answer as many as I can every morning when I come up and drink my coffee. And you inspired me to do another video on this specialization. So, you know, keep subscribing, keep following, and we'll keep putting videos out.